Hey everybody, this is Michael again from Eagle's Nest, and today I have the winner of today's tournament. We have Kupo. Kupo, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Michael. We just
Great.
did a video together like yesterday, right?
Yeah, and we
Talking
uploaded
about
it
stuff
at
in the tier list.
like 4 a.m. this morning. So, if you haven't gotten the chance to watch it, watch that too. But it's a long video. It's like 2.5 hours. So
Yeah.
here you are, winning your tournaments once again with a deck that you created. Everybody said Susano was not for uh, how do you say these guys? So Sayo
Sa-
Warriors?
Sayu Warrior.
Yeah, everyone says Susanoo was not for Sayo Warriors, but you said, you know what, why not? I like the guy. I'll make it work. And you did. And tell me, you won every game how?
I won every game with the Susanoo combo in this deck. It's
Okay,
just
so
it's the cleanest way to win. It's a clean, straightforward game plan that you can play for every game, and it will win 99% of the time.
I know a lot of people are familiar with Susanomon in TB, and it involves the execute egg. But how does this deck swing with Susanomon since you don't have the execute egg? What are you doing when you play out Susano?
So you don't have execute, but you still use the Mokokomon egg
Hmm.
to not to assemble, but when you hard play the Susanomon, it triggers the egg to digivolve your level 4 on the field into a level 5.
Hmm.
Ideally you're going to push either the rookie or already the level 4 out of raising, and
Okay.
then you're ready to play the Susanomon.
Okay.
So you play Susanomon assembled
Hmm.
for 7 or for 7 cost. You do his normal thing. To be fair, the DP minus threshold in this deck is not as high as TB. You can't hit 18k because you're missing two colors as opposed to TB only missing the color black. This deck is missing green and purple, so you can only cap out at 15. But you make up for it by having multiple when attacking inherits that can clear that threshold even more.
So what kind of minus DP inherits or removal inherits are we talking about here?
So usually when you assemble Susanoo, it's going to have the Sanzomon inherit
Okay.
and the Gokumon inherit.
Okay. So
So Sanzomon gives -4, right?
minus
So if
four.
you're at
Yep. Okay.
15, if you're at 15 on play, the Sanzomon will actually allow you to hit 19 on one target.
Right. And then what
And then
about
the
Goku?
Gokumon lets you delete a 6k or less. So,
Uh,
if you include that, now you're talking 25k
or you
that you
could
can remove.
delete two big bodies also that were like above the Susano threshold. Finish off one with
Yes.
this and finish off the other with that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that's all before the Susanoo's when attacking effect that would put a card in security. So you would sequence those inherits before you do Susanoo's when attacking, so that you don't actually add to their security. So that you trash and you do the recovery. It effectively allows you to win the game from 3 security if you have the option card set up,
So what were your
the Sonic
matchups
Ketsu
today in the
option.
tournament? You played Mastamon and what else?
Played Mastamon round one.
Okay.
That was pretty tough because it's just you feel like you're at the mercy of just did they combo you
Hmm.
and go off before you can get going. But round two was Beelstarmon and round three was Jupitermon.
Right. Okay. So you played basically some of the great decks of BT25, but you didn't run into any other BT26 or sorry, EX12 decks today.
No, yeah, it
Okay.
was Mastamon, Beelstarmon, and Jupitermon.
Okay. So if you're taking this deck to locals and you're thinking about playing against other BT25 decks and some new EX12 decks, what's your play style going to be? Are you turtling or are you trying to be aggro and win as fast as possible, or what are you trying to do here?
So with this list, the general game plan is to push out a raising and establish a field to force your opponent to feel the pressure, right? Like you want to put up a board of either Erlong or Takutomon that puts out tokens that
Okay.
have stickiness on the board, right? Like,
Hmm.
and and you kind of just do that and force your opponent to move out when they're not comfortable to start interacting with you early on in the game. And in doing that, you'll
Are you trying to push out
eventually,
turn two with the level six, or is it okay to wait until turn three?
uh, it, uh, ideally, turn three, unless they give you a lot of memory by like playing a tamer or something. Um, it's just more memory efficient to do it that way.
Okay.
because usually you want to put board presence up first with those two level sixes,
Right.
and force your opponent to interact with you.
Is there one of
Um,
these two guys that make blocker tokens that you like more?
they both have their uses. I think Takutomon is a clutch in the Beelstarmon matchup because the token has guard.
Hmm.
Um, but the Erlangmon has more applications in a lot more matchups because he has the all turns effect that replaces not just himself, but if any of your Digimon leave, you get to play a level 5 or lower from hand or his sources.
Okay.
So he allows you to stick on the board much more. But the Takutomon is harder to remove, and his all turns effect is probably much more annoying for the opponent to play around.
Yeah.
So that they're both ideally you get them both together on the board, which you can also do in this list with the help of the Soneketsu invitation option.
Right.
Um, the pretty standard line of play. If you have multiples of these options, you can burn one of them to just establish two level sixes on the board for effectively 6 or 7 memory. Um, and they're incredibly sticky, and you have this super wide board that forces your opponent to either push up or they'll lose the game next turn.
And when are you
So
getting out your Nesahamon or your Satan Gokumon? These guys seem like the aggressors in the deck. This guy's got Russian security attack, and this guy's got engage.
yeah, so Nerdzalmon and Satan Gokumon are kind of they're not the level sixes you want to go into first, generally across the board. Nerdzalmon, if you're playing against a deck that doesn't have an easy out to an immune Digimon, then it's fine to go into him first, because you have engage on the turn that you evolve, and if you have to just have something to collide with, otherwise you won't get your immunity. Right. So it's just the Nerdzalmon is more conditional and dependent on your opponent to have something so that you can trigger your immunity. Whereas the Erlangmon and the Takutomon, you can just make them into an empty board and you're happy, right? So that's why they're both three ofs.
Then that's
But
why
you
you said
still
you want to
want
push
the
up first with one of these two.
yes, and that's why they're both three ofs.
Okay.
The Nerdzalmon though is the necessary level 6 that you need for the Susanoo combo that kills from 3. So because it has the engage, you
Okay.
you need the Nerdzalmon, the Soneketsu invitation option, and the Susanoo. And if you get those 3 cards, you win the game at 3 security. And so essentially the entire game plan that I did today was push up, make an Erlong or Takutomon on the board, and chip my opponent down to 3. Or in the case of the Jupitermon matchup, I never have to swing because they'll chip themselves to 3. And then I just sit there and play the control game while I make a second stack and raising, either with the rookie or the level 4, and setting up the Soneketsu invitation option so that even if my whole board gets wiped, at that point I'll have 8 cards with different names in trash, ideally. And then I'll promote and then do the Susanoo combo.
Okay. In
And
yesterday's tier list video, you were talking about, you said, "Oh, Michael, it's funny you use Satan Gokumon as the image for to represent the deck when in some cases you might not even recommend to play him. You are playing him at one copy today. Why did you play him at
yes,
one copy?"
he is valuable if you get him out early. You so in theory you can assemble this guy earlier than Susanoo because it only needs 3 level 5s, 3 different level 5s in the trash. But in my experience, it takes longer to get those 3 different level 5s than it does
Mm,
to just get 8 different named cards.
hmm.
But Satan Gokumon I think is still valuable because if the opponent doesn't have easy access to D-Digivolve, it is a very oppressive card that can come down and clear a board. It puts on the aggression that you want, and it is the only source of DP minus that lingers through the opponent's turn. So it is the best card to deal with your opponent's immune guys, minus Rebootmon, because Rebootmon is immune all the time. But the Satan Gokumon can answer any other immune Digimon whose immunity wears off at the end of your turn.
Hmm.
Uh, and then he's that sticky level 6 where if he would leave, you get to spit out 2 bodies. So he does have the value. It's just he's not the win condition of the deck because He can't win the game from three like Susano can.
Hmm.
He can win the game from well, okay, so he can win the game from three because he has Sec
Okay.
Plus.
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
he can,
Yeah.
but because he has Sec Plus, if you do the same play as Susano, you are swinging for three checks. So you're going to check three security instead of trashing one and checking two. And his DP minus is not board wide, so depending on the opponent's setup, they could be better.
Yeah, so I think the minusing the whole board is a lot better currently because there's a lot of decode in the meta, or alterns to play something out when your guy would leave. I mean, literally Goku has that effect himself. So minusing the board prevents your opponent from getting from being able to restabilize. Minus DP until end of opponent's turn on a single target is strong in a single stack meta, but EX12 is not a single. The entire set is not really a single stack set, so it is an awkward effect, but it works pretty well against Liberator decks, for example. Um,
Yeah.
and then
I mean, so like Susanoo is better if they have a really wide board because Seitan Goku can still remove like
okay.
three bodies. Seitan Goku can remove like three bodies
Hmm.
on his own
He's
because you
got
have to
delete
consider
one,
his
raid
when
the
attacking
other.
inherits. Yeah, and he has
Oh, and
piercing.
and he's gonna have like this guy and this
Yeah,
guy to deal with
yeah.
some things.
So you're gonna have the minus DP, the source strip, the deletion, right? So like the Seitan Gokumon can answer a wide-ish board of like three bodies or four bodies, depending on what they are. And it can still deal with like decode on play shenanigans because of the ordering of the effect, right? Like you're gonna minus 17 then swing. If they decode, their on play and your when attacking inherits are the same time, and you're a turn player, so you can take care of those secondary bodies.
Okay.
But it doesn't deal with like stuff coming out of security, for example, right? Like, so it gives your opponent more opportunities to interact with you, but it does share a specific niche that Susano can't cover. So I think it's still worth it to play it as a one of. But
Last question for you.
yeah,
In the tier list yesterday, you said that SW was A tier, but TB was S tier. Is is that true, or could this deck be S tier also?
I think as it stands right now, out of the box, TB. The reason why I say TB is S tier is because TB's matchup into Beal Starmon, arguably the best deck in the format prior to EX12, is much better than this deck. This deck can win against Beal Starmon, but
Like you
if Beal
did?
Starmon, like I did, yeah, today, but part of the reason why I did was because they were trimming down on the D-Digivolve option. So there are some Beelstormon players that are still on like two Derblitz and they still play like the two Satellas. So if their deck is like full of D-Digivolve, they can play much better into S Sayu Warrior than they can into TB. Because TB's game plan is like a whole board of guys with no sources, right? So and Beelstar just can't deal with that. That also has like on deletions, right? Uh, this deck you're actually building stacks that can be de-digivolved, so like that's the only reason why I rank TB slightly higher than this is because of its interaction with Beelstarmon specifically. But and Beelstarmon's very popular, but this deck against TB is a 50-50. Like this deck can play very well into all of the rest of the meta. It's just it doesn't have the easy win really against Beelstar that TB has.
Okay.
But TB has other struggles as well. It's not a one size fits all. But out of the box, I think TB's game plan is more straightforward. But if people start adopting this kind of deck list with a refined game plan, especially once we get the Kunlun Tamer next set, then we'll have a discussion. I think it has the capability to be up there in S tier, but there's no doubt that it belongs in A tier
At least, yeah. Well,
at
thanks a lot,
least. Yeah.
Kupo, for the interview, and congratulations again winning first day at Eagle's Nest. It's a pleasure to see you
Yeah.
play. You did a good job,
I'll-
honestly. You played really
I'll-
well. Hope to see you play more. I know you're very busy,
yeah.
but it's good to have good players play the tournament. It elevates the gameplay for everybody. Again,
Yeah, and I plan on making a more in-depth video talking about specific combos and stuff like that on the DigiGalaxy channel. So look forward to that
yeah, guys, please check
later when I
out
put that out.
Kupo's channel. He's it's full of fun videos, and he's a good speaker, so you're gonna have a good time listening to him. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a great rest of your night.
All right, bye.